Good morning, everyone. 11 o'clock on Friday, and we just finished practice 2 of spring ball. Second non-padded day. You have to have 2 to start with just helmets and shorts. So we were able to get those done on Wednesday and Friday. A lot of energy, excitement out there. Guys flying around, good communication, great bunch of guys out there to work with, and just excited about being back on the field. They'll have the weekend off, and then Monday will be a full padded practice, and we kind of roll from there. So I know you guys have a lot of questions. So let's get to those.
Start here with John Kurtz.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, just wanted to ask about Skylar. Skylar, an update on just what he's able to do this spring. I know I saw the picture of him. Looked like he was maybe throwing it a little bit, but what's he able to do?
Yeah, we got some great news on Skylar. Monday before spring ball started, he was cleared for normal activity, no tackling, contact. We will have him do all of our 7-on-7 stuff, all of our 1-on-1 stuff. He's practicing every day. He won't be in many team settings. He'll get into a few team settings that are non-contact team settings, but I'm excited for him because he's able to throw to moving targets this spring. And prior to that, we didn't think that was going to happen. And so great news for Skylar and great news for our football team.
I know it's really early, probably unfair even to ask this, but behind him, the battle for his backup job, how tight does that appear to be, and what kinds of things will you be looking for there?
Well, you have Will Howard that played really good football and played a number of games, and so we're excited to have Will back, and you can tell how much the weight room's helped Will. And then, between Jaron and Max and Jake, we have some young guys. Jaron's now kind of getting to be an older guy that I'm excited about the competition. And we feel really good about the depth we have at quarterback, and we'll see how it plays out.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks.
You bet.
Kellis.
Hey, Chris. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Kellis.
No spring ball last year was kind of an albatross for you and everybody. I'm just wondering, does that make you change the way you approach things this time around, knowing that you didn't get it last time and maybe you're more fired up to get something special out of it?
I think everybody's more fired up, Kellis. Coaches and players, and there's great excitement. It's so much fun to be out there with the guys. They're excited to be out there. We go in the mornings, as you guys know, and so our kids are at the facility before 6 a.m. We have quick meetings. We have a quick continental breakfast. We're out hitting the practice field by 7:15, and first whistle blows about 7:30, and we're going for a little over 2 hours. And once again, we've had 2 helmet practices that have been really good. Guys have been excited, but you can tell, the energy because you missed the entire winter and spring last year. So it's a lot of fun to be out there with the guys.
On Skylar, what's his pass look like right now?
Excuse me?
On Skylar, how are his throws looking right now?
Oh, it looks sharp. I mean, popping out of his hand, and you'd have never thought he was even injured, to be honest with you.
And I also want to ask about your new strength coach. What drew you to Coach True during the process, and why are you so high on him?
Well, you guys will get a chance here in about 20 minutes or half an hour to see what I saw in his interview, and the energy, the enthusiasm, the love for the players, the passion for what he does is in his professional strength and conditioning. Kids just gravitate to him, and he did a dynamite job at his interview. He's had prior working relationships with 3 of our coaches, and Coach Wyatt and Coach Malone at SMU, which a lot of you guys know, but then also Coach Ray at Oklahoma State. So he's familiar with some of our coaches, which has enabled him to get in with his feet running. And I'm excited because he's just got great energy, and just I can see the way the guys have taken to him.
Thanks, Chris.
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, Coach, when you're looking for a new strength coach, did you put more emphasis on how they can maximize performance, or someone that can really set the culture that you want in your program?
I think it's everything, Derek. Obviously, you want somebody that is skilled at his craft. You want somebody that can build relationships. You want somebody that can challenge you as coaches and challenge the team. And you want somebody that can do a great job of building individual relationships. And I know that that's what we have in True. And I'm excited because we've only had True for about a week, but you see the kids come out of the weight room, see them going in the weight room, the excitement that the guys have. See, everything's just fresh. Everything's a little bit new. And that doesn't mean what we did before was poor at all. Coach Dawson was phenomenal here for more than a decade. But sometimes when you have that newness to things, kids are excited about that. And I can't wait for you guys to meet him.
Yeah, and then in regards to some of your new transfer additions, you have 5 that are there now. They're probably swimming a little bit, obviously, the first couple of days, but are there any that are kind of grasping things quicker than the others?
In 2 days, I'm very excited about all five. All 5 fit right in with our guys. That's the number one thing when we brought these guys in and vetted these guys of would they make our locker room better? That was the number one thing that was kind of a prerequisite for us as coaches were they going to fit in with our guys and with our team, and they were going to make our locker room better. And all 5 guys do that. They all have really good skill sets, from a couple of DBs to a linebacker to a D lineman to a tight end. They're going to be good football players here and play an awful lot for us. So we'll kind of evaluate those guys once we get pads on, but excited about all 5 of them.
Is there a couple of things that kind of come to mind for you right now that you want to accomplish first and foremost this spring?
Practice and play faster. Number one and number 2, practice faster, play faster, create those habits from a practice standpoint that we lost in the spring. And then in essence, in the fall, because you had 75% of your roster at most at any practice because of COVID. You just didn't know who was going to be out there on a daily basis. And that's what it was. So getting back to those practice habits that we had really in 2019 before all the pandemic and retraining our guys. This is how we want to practice. This is the expectation. This is the standard of how you do. Way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And that's not only on the field, but it's off the field as well. And we've had a really good off season thus far as kids don't miss meals. They make every meal. We're not missing many classes, if any, not missing many tutors, those little things that allow you to be successful on the field. And I've never been around a team that does some knucklehead things off the field and all of a sudden you're going to be really good on Saturdays. It doesn't work like that. And our kids have taken to that, and our kids are holding each other accountable to that standard. And we're seeing that through 2 days, but we have a long ways to go, and excited about where we're at.
Thanks, Coach.
Michael.
Good morning, Chris. In terms of roster listings, how did you arrive at the decision to move Wayne Jones to linebacker?
We think that serves Wayne best from a skill set standpoint. And Wayne is a much more efficient in the box player than he is playing what we would call top down from a safety down. And so we had long conversations as a staff about that. And it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction. It was long conversations we know Wayne's a really good football player. Now, where can we best utilize his skill set? And the more we looked and the more we watched his film over the last 2 years, when Wayne was playing really well, he was closer to the line of scrimmage. And so it became a pretty simple thing for us of let's put a kid in a position where he can be successful, and closer to the line of scrimmage is where Wayne needs to be.
What way would you like to see him play at, and how does that contribute to the depth that you have at that position?
Contributes greatly to the depth we have at linebacker. And we'd like to see Wayne probably in that between 207 and 212 range. We want him to keep his speed and his quickness, and he's close to that. He's probably 207, 208 right now, and he could probably handle a few more pounds, but I don't want him to lose his speed and quickness. And in the Big 12, with people spreading you out so much, it's not like you have to be a 225-pound kid to play linebacker. You need to be able to run sideline to sideline and be able to tackle. And so it adds depth. It adds a guy that's had valuable starting experience to go along with somebody like Daniel Green that's had valuable experience, and Cody Fletcher's got valuable experience. And we have some younger players as well as Eric Munoz, who we brought in from a transfer standpoint, that you guys know that watched us last year when COVID hit us. We took 2 linebackers to 2 straight road games, and that's all we had was 2 linebackers going to 2 straight road games. And one of them, we had to play 90 snaps. It's hard to hold up. And so we need the depth there.
Thanks, Chris.
Go ahead, Fitz.
Hey, Coach. What a difference a year makes with that offensive line. You had so many questions across that group a year ago, and now how difficult is it for guys to kind of break into the depth chart or earn starting spots, even if they were starters?
Yeah, Fitz, I'm glad you brought that up, because last year at this time, we had no idea what was going to happen on the offensive line, and we were going to get it figured out in the spring. And we didn't get it a chance to even look at getting it figured out until August, and played an awful lot of guys there throughout the course of the season. Now you come into this spring ball, and we have 9 and 10 guys that played significant snaps, that were excited about the depth, excited about the competition. They can make each other better. We have the ability to move people around a little bit more if we wanted to, or solidify some guys. And like for instance, Christian Duffy played right side, he played left side. We're going to focus Duff on the right side, and Cooper Beebe played tackle. He played guard. We're hoping to be able to play Coop inside. He's got to play a little bit outside, hoping to play him inside as well. And then we have a couple of kids that, in Taylor Warner, that we're excited about, and Carver Willis and Sam Shields and Whit Mitchell. We have some young players that are pushing those guys. And so really excited about where we're at with our depth, and the fact that those guys are going to push each other, and we're going to be much better off over a long haul of a season to play upwards of 9-10 guys.
Sticking with that, and Connor Riley likes a really, I don't know if it's the right word, athletic offensive lineman, maybe a little leaner, that can get out and move around and do some really nice things, athletic things. How much did that play into the hiring of the new strength coach, and what Connor wanted along that line?
Oh, those are conversations that we're having. One thing that we probably haven't been able to do quite yet, because True's just getting his feet on the ground, is being able to meet with each position coach to decide, the skill set of the players he has, what he's wanting to do. But you're right. We need athletic guys that can run and pull and lead on plays, with the amount of perimeter run game that we like to do, as well as guards and centers and stuff pulling. And, it kind of leads me into, we're so excited Noah Johnson came back. You have a center that had one outstanding year, his senior year, and gets an opportunity to come back. And Noah loves football, and he's a great leader because he holds people to the standard that he expects of himself. Noah does things the right way. Noah works hard, and you have to gravitate to him because he's just got that infectious personality. And athletically, Noah is an extremely good athlete at center. And so, that's a great one for everybody to look at and say, those are the type of guys that we want into our program.
I could ask you a lot of position group questions, but let me just finish up with running back. You lose Trotter, you gain back Irvin. How does that position look with Deuce Vaughn in the mix, of course?
Yeah, it's different because, you lost Harry, you lost Tyler, a couple of big bangers inside. And Joe Irvin's an extremely talented kid that, we saw in 2019, his ability to run inside and run outside. Keon Mosey just continued to improve throughout the season, and we expect him to be in the mix. Obviously, Deuce is extremely special. And then I'm excited to see what happens with Jacardier and Clyde. They both have the ability, and they just have to put it all together and have consistent days and consistent practices so that we can count on those guys. And we have a number of people there. We just got to see how the depth chart shakes out a little bit through the spring.
Going to ask about moving someone to linebacker. Are there any other position moves that you're considering here in the spring?
No, the only other guy that when you talk about Wayne, we also made the wholesale change to have Ryan Hennington play linebacker. You know, he started as a quarterback, moved over to safety last year, and now we're going to have him play linebacker. And we did that for the same reason with Wayne. There are guys that played safety that in the Big 12 you need linebackers that can really run, that are 210, 215-pound guys that can cover and run sideline to sideline. And so Henny will even provide more depth there on special teams and at linebacker. But I can't think off the top of my head any other position changes that we had.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Got 3 hands raised. We'll finish off with those, starting with Jackson.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask you first off about Damian Alalio of Manhattan coming to K-State, and he just won a state wrestling title. I just wanted to know your thoughts on getting a local kid and what he's going to bring, not just at his position, but just as a competitive player overall.
Well, you hit it on the head, competitor. I was able to watch Damian play a lot at Manhattan High because my son plays there this year, and I saw him come every Friday night and compete and play really well and play physical, play in and play out. And Damian never takes plays off, and you can see why with the wrestling background. And so happy and so proud of him for winning state and having to fight through some adversity and being able to get that done. And he did that. And Damian's going to have a tremendous career here. It's always hard as a young player, as a true freshman, to come in and have an immediate impact, maybe on the field, but he'll have an immediate impact on our football team in just how hard he works, his competitive nature, and we're counting on him being one of the leaders of that freshman class.
And then I just wanted your thoughts on the wide receivers and how they've developed over the last, couple of months of the offseason and then now early through spring.
Yeah, Phillip Brooks, Malik Knowles, go without saying, those 2 kids have played a lot of football, have had really good off seasons. Sebastian's still recovering from off-season injury, so he'll be held out of spring ball. I'm excited to see a young man like Keenan Garber step up into a different and new role that he has. And Keenan has tremendous speed, and the game is starting to slow down for him. And I've seen some really good things out of him the first couple of practices. Then we have some younger players that we're excited about, and we'll see how they progress during spring. But we feel that we have some good depth there.
And then last one for me, the opportunity to play on such a big scale to open your season down in Dallas against Stanford. I just wanted to know maybe if that was just an extra motivator for the guys to start off the season, if that's already something that you've talked about, or how the program's looking at that opportunity.
Well, it's a tremendous opportunity. We're thankful to be able to have that chance to go play a great institution like Stanford. I have so much respect for Coach Shaw and for our kids to be able to go down to Dallas, where we have so many alums and such a huge recruiting base for us to be able to go down there and showcase Kansas State University and Kansas State football. I know our guys have talked about it because when we mentioned it, we said we're going to open up the season at AT&T Stadium, and I know that excited guys, but you got to put the work in before you get down there, and that's what the start of spring ball is about.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
You bet.
John?
Yeah, Chris, I'm sure just getting back out there for everybody after the layoff, everybody's pretty giddy to get up and going. Is this really as important a spring as you guys have had just because of everything that happened last year and not getting one last year?
Yeah, it really is. All of them are important. All the falls are important. All the off seasons are important. But when you miss the amount of time that we missed, you do have to start over a little bit. You do have to start from scratch and refocus your efforts and energies on the fact that we get the spring ball. Let's take advantage of it. We had it taken away. a lot of things can be taken away from you very quickly in this game due to injury. Now we found out due to a pandemic. You're blessed to have the opportunity to play this game. You're blessed to have the opportunity to run out there with your brothers and battle every day and compete and run around and don't take it for granted, because it can be taken away from you in an instant. And I've just been pleased with the energy that we've had these first couple of days, and the challenge that we challenged the guys after practice was, we've had 2 great days, but they were t-shirts and helmet days. Now we're going to put the pads on Monday. We have to have that same focus and same energy.
And you mentioned, maybe starting over in some ways. Is this a time in spring where you can do something, changing something major philosophically, schematically, anything like that?
I think just the opposite, John. We need to get back to the basics. We didn't block exceptionally well last year. We didn't tackle exceptionally well last year. We didn't get off blocks exceptionally well last year. We didn't do little things with footwork and hand placement and simple technique things of running to the football with the proper angles on defense. All that stuff. That's what we need to get back to. The schemes will come as spring ball and as summer and fall gets here. Our biggest emphasis is to be better fundamentally throughout the spring, and that's going to be the daily challenge for the guys. Is we had 1 call on defense on both practice 1 and practice 2, and that was for a reason, because we just need to play faster, more aggressively, more physical.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks.
You bet.
Last one here, Ryan.
Hey, Chris, you got me?
You bet.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, I always got a few questions for you real quick. I guess my first one is, we kind of know where Skylar is on the depth chart, but does Will have a leg up? Is he entering the spring as number 2, or is it completely even after Skylar?
Well, it's I would say he's got a leg up because he's played 7 or 8 games, but we have wide open competitions at so many positions, and Skylar, I think all of us envision him coming in and being the guy, but we also know that he's got to compete, and Skylar knows that as well. And that's what makes us better when you have multiple people at positions, whether that's quarterback, running back, offensive line, like we talked about. The competition is going to make us all better. And so I like that quarterback room. We've got an older guy like Skylar, and then a bunch of younger players that are going to learn the mental side of the game from Skylar. But Skylar started an awful lot of football games for us, and I can't wait to see him cut it loose full go. And I know that those other quarterbacks are continuing to improve, and let's see how it plays out this spring.
My second one would be, we certainly know kind of what you guys lost in defensive line with Wyatt and Drew. How has that group looked so far?
We have depth, and we have competition. Tyrone Tellini has put on some great strength and some weight, and Cortez has put on some great weight and strength. And Eli Huggins, I think, is ready to be that difference maker player. Jalen Pickles continued to improve. We have a lot of young defensive ends that nobody knows about because Wyatt took the lion's share of the reps, but Felix Anaduke and Nate Matlock and Brendan Mott, and we have so many young players that we're excited about those guys because they've put on 15 to 25 pounds over the last year to get into that mode to be ready to play in the Big 12. And so I like the depth we have in there. Do we have a Wyatt or a Drew right now from a difference maker standpoint? Time will tell, but we have a lot more versatility in there with the amount of guys.